Well, they're bred champions here, they rear champions here, and of course they train champions here as well. I'm talking about Dillymore Kennels, the base of John Mullins, just on the Essex-Suffolk borders. And I've come to have a chat with John, of course, looking ahead to the second round of the Star Sports TRC English Greyhound Derby. They've got 6 runners through to the second round at Towcester. Well, John, we've got Chelms Greatest here, owned by Lee Harris and James Watson. Ran second to CryptoPunk in his heat. Did he please you?
He pleased me immensely because he's been off for a while. He's a long way from being fit. He had a cut toe and he's come back lovely. He pleased, especially as he didn't lead, because when he leads, I think he's a different dog. I do think he's first time up dog, so we'll give him a change up the gallop. And you can't ask for any more than that.
And they're thinking about putting him over 5.75 at Romford, coming into the Classic, strengthening him up or giving him a race?
It was purely to give him strength. You've said, you know, get him fit. Plus I wanted to give him a switch. He'd had his trials at Towcester, and I just wanted him to go somewhere else and come back and be fresh.
And that 29.35 at Towcester, pre the new traps, was some run, so he can run.
Oh, geez, he can run. I actually said to the owner, and I think James is best mate bought half share on. I said this dog can run as fast as Kildare. So that's what they went. But then, yeah, I think you learn about the dogs, and I think if we keep him fresh, he'll be all right.
That's high praise, given of course Kildare was second last year.
Yeah, Kildare was second last year. I mean, he just wasn't ready for another couple of weeks. I think it'd have been all right.
Okay, and pretty well bred as well, being a brother of Antigua Sugar.
I actually didn't know that, to be fair. I don't follow breeding. I don't, people say what they're bred out of. I mean, I've got litters of pups here. I don't know what they're out of. I do it for other people. Obviously, I know them if they're mine. I've got a Goofy litter down there because I know it's out of Forest Natalie. But other than that, I don't, I just want to look after the dogs and what they do for me.
Fair enough. We'll continue to improve then through the Derby, we expect. Chelms Greatest?
I think, yeah, if he can get away, yeah, he definitely will continue to improve. I mean, he's not going to be, do any track records, but who wants that? I'm happy with just finishing the first 3.
Well, John, we've got kennel mates here, Signet Goofy, Brindle, of course, and we've got Faypoint Susie here, the bitch. Signet Goofy, fantastic campaign last year. He's a real star of the kennel for Lee Cowcott and Chris Waters. How do you think he ran in his heat? I thought it was fantastic.
I thought it was a fantastic run. He really does love Towcester. I think Towcester plays to his, plays to him. He didn't come away the other night. He's got phenomenal gears to the bend, made the race his. It was a hard race. Good dogs in there from Ireland, good dogs from everywhere. And you couldn't ask for any more. And I actually thought he stayed on better. I mean, I think he gets the 500. But, when they get the 3rd and 4th bend, they get a breather. And then when he kicked home, jobs are good.
And of course, coming into the event, not too much racing. The Derby was very much the plan for a ground runs Towcester so well.
The Derby was his sole goal. I don't set out for the Derby because there's only one winner every year. But once the Laurels was over, he got knocked out in the semis. Left him off until it started and just give him a trial. I think he had a sprint trial and a 4-bend trial, and he's come into it fresh.
And he's been a star for the Kennels, as I say. Won the Steel City Cup in great style.
He won the Steel City Cup coming from behind. He's done everything right last year. You couldn't fault him, even though he only won the Group 1, Route 1. He got the semi-finals of the Derby unbeaten. He thinks he won the Derby. So, yeah, you just can't fault him. Plus, he's English.
Absolutely, and he's very much British bred as well. And, obviously, Kevin bred the litter, but you reared them. And this was it your pick of the litter? How did that work? No. Kevin
bred them, yeah. And we reared them, and then once they went schooling, I think Kevin had a few up for sale. I knew nothing about that because I didn't know Kevin, at the time was selling any. And I'm going to stand up and say that I wouldn't have picked him. I wouldn't have picked any. There was none that I would have picked. But Lee rang up and said that Signet Goofy's for sale. What do you think? So I said, yeah, go for it. He went schooling. I know what they were reared like here, and I think he's got better and better.
Absolutely, and we know that Magical Bell, Forest Natalie is proved a fantastic litter, and he's a good member of that.
I think he's a good member. I mean, the whole family of that litter you know, been stand-up pups, and she's a standout mum. Obviously, I think she was down with the year, and rightly so.
And just going back to that heat, as you say, it was a good heat. I think Warzone Tom was in it. Barry McFinn, of course, from Ireland. Yeah. You know, had to work hard to get to the bend, but so resolute in front. Yeah,
once he got in front, I mean, I knew he needed the run, and we'll need the next run as well. Once he kicked on, then, you know, you were hopefully he was going to qualify, and he did it in style.
He's got a bit of a fan club at Toaster.
He has, and rightly so, because, I mean, he's a friendly dog. I mean, he's jumped up you both. He thinks he's something special. Like I said, he actually thinks he won the Derby last year. Well, there you go.
Well, fingers crossed he does this year. Thanks, John. Well, John, we're with Dapper Larry now, the youngest member of your team, August 21 for the two Craigs, Atherton, Oxborough, Tony Cotton as well. And I know there was a huge cheer from the terraces when he qualified.
Yeah, because he'd done a lot of running, didn't he? I mean, he got a nasty bump at the bend. I think he's going to be a dog to follow for the future. I think he'll definitely get stay. And he's just learning his craft. I don't know what he done in Ireland, but when he come over here, he was really, really nervous. So I really bulked him up. But I think he was about 3 kilos heavier than what he is now. Trialled him in, he was all over the place. He was green. And then as the weight come off him, he learned to run. And then he done an impressive trial. Boys rung me up and said, "What do you think of the Derby?" I said, "We might as well, because I mean, unless you get thrown against the hot pots, it's going to be no different to going in an ordinary open race." So that's, you know, we went for it, and we were fortunate enough to pick up third position the other night.
Very much a novice. I think that was only his second ever race.
Yeah, so that was his second race, because he had a race from me on the Sunday before, because I asked Andy if he could get him out so he could get a race under his belt. You know, so everything's a bonus with him.
Yeah, absolutely. A raw pup. Again, we'll have a fan club from Yarmouth, especially the lads are, you know, representing your local track as such.
Yeah, the Free Boys, they'll love it. They'll be down. They were there the other day. I don't think Tony was there. I think he's a Man United fan, so we can't have everything, can we? Yeah, they enjoyed it. They had dinner in the restaurant, so they really enjoyed it. And the fact that he got up, fair play to them, shows their, you know, dedication to coming down.
Absolutely, and you know, just to reiterate that you're still learning about Dapper Larry as well. I would imagine, like we all are.
Listen, I learn about different new dogs every day. Every day is a learning curve. Like the Susie bitch, it was, you know, everything's learning. Is it this? And it'd be the same with him. Be the same with you too. Every day is a learning curve with them. So we'll be learning.
But I love the fact, I mean, look, he's bred, I think that the dam line is Dapper Rodney, Billy's Tudor, so there's open race form within that line. But even at August 21, if you're fast enough, you're good enough to go in a derby.
I think if you're fast enough, you're good enough to go in it, if you want it, you know. And like you said, it's, unless you got drawn against the real hot pots, you could enter an open race on a Sunday. Obviously, he'd have been in a puppy race. Puppy race don't feel, so you put him in a maiden race. And I believe open races, personally, are easier than graded races, because in graded races, you're graded to the bend, you can get in trouble, right? It is what it is. With an open race, at least if you fall out, you get a nice run round. You know, not everyone's in all 6 top dogs.
Finally, on a lighter note, remiss of me not to mention that Chelms Greatest is known as Elvis. You're a great fan of Elvis, and this fella's Larry.
Yeah, his name is Larry, so we call him Larry Hagman, and AKA JR. Elvis, he came in because he came in from the Matthews family, and his racing name was He's the Greatest. A couple of the people wanted to name him after Ali, and I won't have dogs named after boxers here because I think it's bad luck. So you don't get any greater than Elvis, do you?
You don't, there.
And if he can run as good as Elvis can sing, I think he'll win the Derby.
Good luck to Larry here.
Larry Hagman, yeah. Yeah, if he's as good as JR, well, who knows what he'll achieve.
Well, one of the stars on Friday, certainly early doors, was Faypoint Susie of yours, John, and that was an exceptional performance, I thought. It was one of the fastest sectionals as well.
I haven't seen the sectional, but she did a good run 10 days beforehand, 29.09. She's out and gone. I think she's a good bitch. I think Port's over a while when others have said to me no. She took a long time to settle in. Didn't eat. And what I did was really bulked her right up, and yeah, she's come to her own, and she lives with Goofy, and they're happy with each other, and she's I think the art with greyhounds is if they're happy, then you're 90% there, you know. So, and she is.
Certainly happy and representing the Flanagan family very well. I remember when you put her in the trainer's judgment team, so that was how well regarded you felt she was then, but obviously maybe short of work and hadn't been with you long.
She just didn't perform on that night. You know, questions were asked, did she have to lead, this, that, but I still stuck with her. I just think she's an exceptional bitch. I mean, yeah, I thought a lot of her then, and she'd done something previous to that, and she's proved us right. So we've got a long way to go with her, though.
You've trained some fantastic bitches over the years. I think you know how they tick.
Yeah, I think so. They're all different, aren't they? You know, like we had Blongini and Smallmead, and we've had Knocky's Hannah. We've had a good few bitches, yeah. I can't fault them.
Exactly, Oaks and St Ledger victories on the CV from those sorts. So Faypoint Susie, you know, she should continue to progress. 29.09 in a trial stakes, and then that solid Friday run.
The solid Friday run, out and gone, especially with the mishap with the traps not opening, but that could have affected all of them. I wondered how it was going to affect her, but she was on the top of her game. She come away, but she's got to do it again, you know. I mean, people say that the Derby's too strong for bitches. I suppose bitches don't win it that often, but they're only running once a week. I mean, back in the day, we used to run them all the time, you know. So I think they've got as much chance as a dog. If they're good enough, they'll do it.
We've got Chelms Paul here. Of course, this was one of the runners that ultimately had to draw lots to get into the second round. The no race on Heat 29. I suppose first thing is, how did he come out of that race? Because a few of them carried on and on.
He come out of it well. He stopped going around the bend and went back, and one of the starter actually grabbed hold of him, so he didn't have to run round. He's come out of it good. I think all the others did as well. And
a sense of relief to be one of the runners into the second round, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, of course it is, because, you know, it's an annoying way to do it, and you could have rerun it. But with the new stupid rules that are about at the moment, we had to draw it out of a hat. Could have had a rerun on Tuesday. But, look, we qualified, so I'm happy.
Excellent. Just 3 runs for yourself, but quite experienced in Ireland, known as Strictly Paul there. A couple of wins at Limerick, Waterford run as well. And you ran him over 5.75.
Yeah, I think he was with Pat Buckley in Ireland, and I think he had a lot of early in Ireland. But I do believe that better dogs are over here, as in they run together, whereas in Ireland they're spread out unless they're in a derby or something like that. So you've got, if I put Goofy in a race, you know, which wasn't in a competitive race, their early would show that, you know, phenomenal. But where you start putting them in races like over here with early dogs, it doesn't have so much. So I put him in 5.75. He ran on, and, you know, I think he would have won on Saturday. I don't care whether he would or not, but I think he would have run from where he was, because I actually said, stand in the middle, you've definitely qualified. And where he was going round, because I think he stays 5.75, he'd have gone well enough.
Seems a very consistent sort. He's got that all-round pace. Could he just be a potential dark horse in the Derby?
He could be. I don't know a lot about him. I'm learning everything about him as we go. It's like Dapper Larry, he isn't long been over. Like we said, he's only had a couple of runs, and normally for me that would be, you know, normally would know the ins and outs of them. So I'm really learning about him, and I don't think it's bad form to go to Romford and then come back to Towcester. So it's all good.
Not at all. And good for Lee Harris?
Yeah, Lee's well pleased. He qualified. Because obviously his other dog just didn't run Saturday. He didn't show anything, and that is what it is. That's dog racing, and he puts a lot into it. So good luck to him for the future.
Well, John, we got another member of the team into the second round of the Derby. You too, July 21.
Yeah, he went to Kinsley. He's won a couple of races at Towcester. He won a race in the Jim Crack. I think he gets outpaced down the back at Towcester, but he's improving every time. He led out the other day, really run well to qualify, because he's only a pup, he hasn't had that many races. Got caught out down the back and then come through to qualify. I think he's going to be a really good dog. I think he'll take a while to come along, and he is a swift pup. from Greavesy. Yeah, and I think one of his better ones. He likes him. He does like him.
And you guys, or Chris or Helen, named him?
Well, when he came over, he's called Swift Bono, and between the two of them, they called him U2, obviously after Bono. So he's done well.
That race, of course, his first round heat. I think Magical Car was in the race. Candle and Monsoon was in the race. You know, he had to battle away to qualify.
He had to battle away to qualify, and he popped out and led. Got a little bit lost around the bends and going down the back, but come through and qualified well. So you can't ask any more than that. And like we said, he's a pup, and hopefully he'll get an easy draw.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chris had such a great ride with Signet Goofy last year. I mean, this is the younger brigade now, but loving the game. I think the smile on his face, I think, just to see you two qualify told us everything.
Yeah, you know, he had a great run with Goofy, and the day before Goofy run. And I think he was extra nervous with Goofy this year because so much expectations this year. So he had to come back and come out and do it to make sure that he wasn't a one-hit wonder or one-year wonder. And with the pup, it was just... I think it was one of those nights because Dapper Larry ran that night as well, and they both managed to get up and qualify. And to get some pups through like that, it makes everyone happy.
You had 11 Derby entries. I think numerically it was the strongest Derby entry. Underlines the quality of greyhound you got here and your passion for the Derby. Yeah,
the passion, the quality of the dogs that we put in were good enough to go in, but definitely not good enough to win it. I didn't kid myself that all 11 can win it. You can only win it with one. What do I realistically think of the ones we've got? I thought 3 of them, probably 4, had a chance. And let's be fair, after Saturday night, we all know, and every year, that the Derby's 90% about luck. You've got to have the machine, you've got to have this, but look, the fastest dog went out last Saturday, so it's luck.
You were a big fan of Rab's dog and Brendan's dog?
Huge fan of it, still am. I think it'll go on to be Ground of the Year. Look, just because he's not in the Derby, I mean, I don't know what their plans is. It was just one of those nights where whatever he done wasn't his fault. It was just bad luck. It's just unlucky. Nobody's fault. It is actually dog racing. And that's why we enter all these dogs for the Derby, because you never know.
You never know. And what impressed you other than your own dogs on Friday, Thursday and Saturday?
I'm trying to think of the name of it. Carol Weatherall's dog, what was it called?
Untold Zloty?
Yeah, I think that went well, very well. There was a few dogs in there. I think realistically for me, you look at the Derby and yeah, this will impress you, that will impress you, but it really starts for me when you're on the 48. You're all on one night, and then you know you can see the Irish are flying the flag big time for them. They're all coming out winning and doing this, that, and the other. Good luck to them. So, but there's a long way to go.
What does a Derby mean to you?
The Derby is the reason I'm in it. I think it is the pinnacle of dog racing. It is the FA Cup. The Monaco, the Grand Prix, it is, you know, it is it. And I went to the paddock on Saturday, and Debbie Prue's daughter came up to me and said she was really nervous because the first dog she entered the Derby. So that says it all. Somebody from the Prue's family that can come out and say, you know, that shows the passion of it all.
And in terms of family, we know your late father was a Derby-winning trainer, mum a multiple champion trainer as well. David, of course, you know, still going great guns in the game. And Kelly's got a licence with you now, your other brother.
Yeah, I think like Kelly's wants to come racing more now. He's not going to get back into it. No way, he doesn't want to. But he still follows David, follows me. He wanted a licence, got a licence for his wife. Like you said, Dad won the Derby, mother the best woman trainer that's put a lead on a dog. She's won everything bar the Derby, but she was there with Dad. If you watch the replay, she's parading it. David, well, he's won everything as well, so I think we're keeping the flag flying for the Mullinses.
I think you are. And Dillymore Cottage, how long have you been here now?
I purchased this in 2005 and got the block up. It took exactly 12 months to get that up. And we had the pups here within 3 months of being here, so obviously the kennels were filled up once they were once it was up and running.
We're not a million miles away from Manningtree, where for you it all started.
Well, Mother lives in Manningtree now. She's back down Manningtree, so we can be there in under 10 minutes, I suppose. It's, what, 6 or 7 miles. And Missley, where the kennels were, what an establishment that was. So, yeah, we're not a million miles away from it.
And in terms of the great champions that have you put a lead on, I mean, the ones that always spring to mind, sort of a Maxi Rumble through to sort of a Blonde Genie, a Small Mead.
Yeah, look, Maxi Rumble to this day is still be the best dog that I've trained. If I'm lucky enough to get another dog like him, then God be with it. But Blondino's...
Third in the Derby.
He was third in the Derby, won a couple of Group 1s. We've been very fortunate enough to have some really good dogs over the years. Scots Kelly won my first Group 1, and then there was Swift Keith, what I call the One Derby Keith. Yeah, we've been very, very fortunate. We had a lot of dogs in finals. We won a lot of Group 1s. Nocky's Hannah, who I bred, trained the mum and dad, Maxi Rumble, and they come from Walthamstow. I think Blonde G, yeah, we've been, you know, a lot of good dogs, real good dogs.
On the end of the league, but you're also rearing pups for other trainers, you know, big name trainers like yourself, obviously with Kevin Hutton, Seamus Cahill, Rab McNair. You know, that must give you immense pride. You've got their confidence.
Yeah, I suppose when you look at it, I always say a proud moment is when another trainer puts a dog with you. So I suppose Kevin, yeah, it is a proud moment, like with Liz and Rab putting dogs with us, Brendan. So Kevin, I mean, I chew all Kevin's pups, and I'm doing 2 litres for Seamus. So, well, look, we've got a lot of space here. They get 5 meals a day. Why wouldn't you?
Absolutely, I'm going to move in. And obviously it's a team situation here. Obviously I've seen Jack and Jeff, but Debbie plays a huge part as well.
Yeah, Debbie runs the business side of it, so she keeps all the paperwork sorted out. It's a team of everyone. I've got Linda and part-time Emma, Louis. Got lots of part-time with Gemma at the track. So, yeah, look, you can't run this place without it.
And no doubt all eyes will be on for all of them, Toaster on Friday and Saturday. John, all the best.
Thank you very much.